Welcome. You've got mail.
It's the Millennial Midlife Crisis Podcast with Justin and Sean. Take it away, guys.
All right, everybody, we are back. Episode 3 of the Millennial Midlife Crisis Podcast. I'm Justin. There's Sean.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We were pleasantly surprised. We actually got quite a few downloads for the first 2 episodes, so that was really nice. So thank you, guys. If you are interested in what we are doing, there's a variety of ways you can find our stuff. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, iTunes. Well, Apple and iTunes are the same thing. Spotify, Google Podcasts, which is changing to YouTube Music apparently at some point. We just talked about that yesterday, Sean and I. iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and any other podcast app, Stitcher, any other podcast app of choice. Our stuff is somewhere out there. You can just search Millennial Midlife Crisis Podcast, or you can do a variety of other things. You can go to Linktree, linktr.com/MMC podcast. That has links to everything I just described. And I actually changed it, Sean. It has a nice Halloween background now on it.
Ooh,
Spooky. I know.
Yep.
We'll have to get into that. We'll definitely have a show before Halloween. I think we'll have to touch on that. But if you want to join the talk online, you can also go to facebook.com/MMC podcast 1. Email the show at mmcpodcast1@gmail.com, or text us or call and leave a voicemail at 1-815-905-CLUB. We got a doozy of a topic this week, Sean. Sean, what's our topic that we came up with?
Our topic is delicious. It's sticky. It's yummy. It's all the good stuff that we used to eat as children that now we probably look back and go, how am I still alive?
I ask that question on a weekly basis at this
Wow.
point, but not because of food stuff. But yeah, I think Sean came up with this. Was one of your ideas, wasn't it, Sean?
It could have been. I don't know. We've tossed around so many things. I have literal pages of things that I think could work as topics and things. So the credit is neither here nor there. It's just, here we are. Let's get hungry.
All right, so we got some good stuff. I ripped a couple different YouTube commercials of some things to hopefully transport you back into the 90s or 80s, or one of these was 2002 that I ripped, and we'll get into that because that is just a really strange commercial, but an amazing product nonetheless. So, Sean, I guess we should just dive right in because you know, the 90s and 80s and early 2000s, first of all, had some amazing snacks that are no longer around. There was also snacks that were discontinued and then brought back. And as a few writers or listeners wrote in and said that the new versions are absolutely awful. We'll talk about that as well. But I guess we should just start with you. Sean, what is one snack from your childhood that you remember that you absolutely enjoyed?
You know what? The funny thing about that, you know what? I'm looking at my list because you hit me with the enjoyed, because as you'll find out later in this podcast, a lot of the stuff I didn't like.
Okay.
But I love Cheetos Paws. Remember Cheetos Paws?
Oh, yes.
They were the perfect consistency. I don't know many people that don't like Cheetos in general. They were I remember them being kind of less messy. I don't know. Cheetos Paws and like a Pepsi, and I was good.
You know, okay, I am a staunch advocate for the crunchy Cheetos and Flamin' Hot Cheetos. This may be blasphemy. I am not a fan of Cheeto, like the puffs. They're too soft. Okay. There's not enough there. I need something that I can really dig my teeth into. I don't know, but the Cheeto Paws, I think, were a great happy medium to both the crunchy and the puffs. And
that's my point. That
was a time where I feel like Chester Cheeto was just running unchecked. He was running amok in their advertisements. Did you know there was a Chester Cheeto video game on Sega and Super Nintendo as well?
No.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point we'll talk about video games from our childhood, because that's just something we'll have to do. But and I'm on my work computer, so if they see that I'm searching Chester Cheeto video game, they're gonna get a kick out of that. It was called Chester Cheetah Too Cool to Fool.
Oh man, was that followed by Joe Camel too smoking to be joking? I mean,
It came out in December of 92, so we are rapidly
wow.
approaching 21 year no 30 oh god 31 years ago that came out on the Super Nintendo and
I
Sega
was I was
Genesis.
just gonna say that would have been like Super Nintendo or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, oh man, let's just
Oh,
say there's a lot of bright colors. And now I'm looking at the Google what people are asking. Is Chester Cheeto black or white? Is Chester related to Cheeto? Why is Chester
related to
why
Cheeto.
is Chester Cheeto covered in Mexico? I don't know. I don't even know what that means, but yeah, that's a good one. I will piggyback off of, snacks that are not around. And this was a Keebler elf, Keebler,
Elf. Yeah, whatever.
but it wasn't a cookie. Do you remember the Keebler crunchy snack? I believe it was Keebler called Pizzerias.
Vaguely. That I remember pizzerias sound familiar, but
Mhm.
I cannot place it. Perhaps
That
I will have to do a Google search.
they were very good. I remember for some reason my grandparents getting them, and that was kind of like a treat when we were out in Lamont, because they always I feel like they always had them. We never had them at home. I don't know why. But yeah, like as somebody who craves and it wasn't even like it tasted necessarily like pizza, but it was just more like I don't know, kind of like Italian seasoning. I don't know. It was a weird. It was weird, but it was good.
It looks vaguely Dorito like.
It does. It does. If you took like Doritos but made them pizza flavored, which I don't know if there is a pizza flavored Dorito,
If not, jump on that bandwagon, people.
that's what you would have. And they were pretty good from what I remember.
And they're no longer around, I see, huh? The Keeblers
No.
just decided they must have sold the corn tortilla farm and they just work in the tree exclusively
The
making the fudge cookies and
EL fudge cookies.
that's it. I was like, I know there's like
I haven't had one of those. My dad, I think it was my dad, loved those things, and we would always have those in our fridge and like
yeah.
sneaking
Oh,
those
fridge,
things
you guys
out.
are fancy. I think ours were just on the counter.
Oh, see, I'm a big proponent of like I like my cookies cold and I like my cake cold. I like
I
it.
could see that.
Yeah, I don't know, but those were really good as well. What about you? What else you got?
Um. Oh, this was a good one. Do you remember the Ninja Turtles ice cream?
Yes, with the gumballs.
Yes.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. That was okay. So if well, I haven't gotten anything from an ice cream truck probably in about 30 years, but when I was a kid, they were driving down, the street, our street in Oak Lawn. There was two choices. I was either getting the Ninja Turtle face with the gumball, and sometimes it was like partially melted, so
Oh
like
yeah.
the turtle's head was on a slant. And if they didn't have turtles, though, the alternative was the Mario's face with the same thing,
Basically
same
this.
idea.
Yeah.
But oh man, that gum was like rock hard.
Oh yeah.
And it would like chip your teeth, but it was so worth it. It was so good.
So jumping off of that, did you ever get a jawbreaker that was like what was it, like baseball size? Do you remember those?
No, oh god, I remember the kids in school having those, and those were a big deal. And then I remember, I want to say our school like tried to ban them because they were afraid kids were gonna crack their teeth or choke on them when they got small enough. But I do, and I remember like every single layer was a different color, right?
Yep.
Like a different design or something.
Yep.
Yeah, I never got into those though.
I remember my friends would lick them until their tongues bled.
Really?
I didn't have that kind of patience because it had like little candy pieces in it. It was like, or not candy pieces, but it was like textured almost in certain spots.
Flakes of glass. And
Yeah.
whatnot.
I mean, it might as well have been because I remember people just being like, yeah, I just bought it at By the Way. Remember By the Way?
Yes, I do.
And they would just sit there and just go at these things for hours and hours and hours, and then all of a sudden they'd go, and then there'd be little blood spots. And me personally, I never had the patience for it.
No, you're talking to a guy who, like, I love Dum Dum suckers, but I don't even suck those. I just bite those things and eat them whole. So I don't have the patience for a jawbreaker.
So Justin doesn't know how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. Has no idea.
I bite those things as quickly as I can.
So you are the owl.
I am the owl.
Yeah.
I am. A 1, a 2, a 3. All right. Okay, I have to get to this one. A couple people actually wrote in and said they agreed with me because I posted this on our Facebook page. Angie wrote in and said this rocked, and this is a little bit later. This would have been when I was in high school. Probably this was at a time where I didn't look at health labels on pop and food at all, so I can't even imagine the sugar content in this. But that is Pepsi Blue, and we had two people write in. Angie wrote in and said Pepsi Blue rocked. And Robin, my mom, also wrote in and said Pepsi Blue was so good. I don't even remember her liking it, but I remember her buying it for me all the time. Do you remember Pepsi Blue?
Of course, yeah. I remember it well. I never really got into it. No.
See, for me, that was just like a blue raspberry Slurpee, but like you didn't have to go through the wherewithal of like, oh, it's cold and now I can't hold it. Like, it's good to go. You're getting all the syrup at the bottom of the cup from 7-Eleven, and it's perfect. It's like the truest form of the Slurpee. But like the sugar content alone, I'm curious. Sugar content in Pepsi Blue, and I do have the commercial that went along with it, so stay tuned for that. Pepsi Blue, good Lord, had in a regular 100 ml a Pepsi Blue can. Wait a minute, I take that back. In one can of Pepsi Blue, it had 70 grams of sugar.
That's diabetes in a can. I mean,
yes, that is 260 calories for a bottle. 70 calories of sugar. And I think it's funny on the Pepsi website. Apparently, Pepsi Blue is somewhere being sold somewhere in the world. I don't know where. Not here, as far as I know. But it doesn't tell you the percent value of the sugar. It's just giving you the percent value of the other things. It's like they even know, like, if you're drinking these, you don't really care about this. So why are we going to bother, right? So I will tell you, though, I did do a little search to see if there was Pepsi Blue commercials, and I did not remember this. But Sean, do you know which band plays in the Pepsi Blue commercial?
I'm not even going to try. I have no idea.
All right, well, let's play it and see if you can figure it out. Here we go.
Time and time people you think about me. Time and time again, you'll think about you. Hey! Crank it up! Pepsi Blue, a fusion of berries with a splash of cola. Pepsi Blue, it's a blue thing.
All right, that was none other than Papa Roach from 2002. And let me just say, I know that doesn't really play as well in an audio podcast, but it's them driving down the street, singing whatever song that is. I don't even know what song that is. And then someone yelling to turn it up. And then it's just, hey guys, look at the camera. We're drinking Pepsi Blue. And then they pull away. And that's the end of it.
These were days of extreme drinks all around, because remember, like, the Mountain Dew commercials were like much in the same vein of, like,
they would shoot the cans at someone. They'd jump up like on a skateboard and catch it mid trick. And yeah,
I remember being like a car guy and stunt driver fan and all that. I remember the one where like the valet drives off and if I remember right, it's like somebody's BMW and they take it up on top of the parking garage and they do like, slides and donuts and things like that. And then when the camera pans away, like straight up, looking down on the roof of the parking garage, it says "do the do" like in skid marks.
Yep. And
it's that and all we could do a whole podcast just on energy drinks of the time. And,
yeah. So all right. What about you? You got any others? That caught your attention?
Kind of jumping off the healthy drinks of our youth. I remember my high school had 2 drink machines. One was Nesquik.
Okay.
The other was Fruitopia.
Okay, see, I remember drinking a lot of Nesquik boxes when I was a kid. Like you could get the chocolate milk in a box, like
Like
a
the
juice
metal
box.
can?
No, this was just like a regular like juice box, but it was a Nesquik chocolate milk box you could
Oh,
buy.
see,
It
I don't remember
But
that.
I want to say Oak Lawn High School might have had a Fruitopia too. I never indulged in the Fruitopia, but I know it's one that like on all the like BuzzFeed lists of like what people want brought back. That's like number one.
I believe. Well, I mean, I just remember it was like wild colors and craziness, and it was sort of like, this is going to sound funny for the time, the modern Snapple.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
now those were commercials. You remember the Snapple lady?
The Snapple lady, yeah. I used to drink a ton of Snapple up until like probably beginning of college, because then I started getting really bad kidney stones, and it was because I was drinking too much sugar and
No,
it was too
not
much
your
sugar.
Pepsi Blue.
Yeah, I
No,
know, I know.
that couldn't cause any
So
adverse
that
health
got cut
effects.
out. Now it's just mostly water and coffee these days, and the occasional Diet Coke. But yeah. Oh man, Fruitopia is one I've heard wonderful things about, but I have not indulged myself. We did have two people write in, and I'm curious if you probably remember this, but I never had this. Melissa and Kevin both wrote in and said Tang. Do you have any affinity for Tang?
We weren't that poor. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I am a purist. We were orange juice or nothing. We were not even a Sunny D family. Like we had it once or twice, and we were like, "What is this crap?" It was like, no. Like we were a Minute Maid family. Like if we were gonna get junk, it was like we at least want the real junk. And we used to. Do you remember the Minute Maid that used to come in like the biscuit can?
Yes, it was. Like
that's what we used to get.
Right?
That's what we used to get. Yeah.
I remember us being big in Sunny D as kids, but then I remember like as an adult learning like, was that really not even orange juice? Like I feel like there was a discrepancy there that people at the time didn't realize. Maybe I don't know.
I'm literally going to Google what was Sunny D.
Please do, because I honestly, I don't think it was orange juice. I know the commercial was like, "Do you want that purple stuff?" No, I want Sunny D, and like the purple stuff looked way better than the Sunny D. But I don't know what it actually was.
According to Wikipedia, it's an orange drink. That's all it's
what is that
Sunny
even
D,
mean?
named Sunny Delight, is an orange drink developed in 1963 by Doric Foods. And then it goes into like how they built plants for it. Okay. The drink is superficially related to orange juice, but also resembles a soft drink without carbonation. Yeah, that's Sunny D.
That's kind of scary because we always just assumed it was like a different brand of orange juice, and I could have swore we had it with breakfast. Like it was so just to think we were drinking like pop for breakfast now.
That's the most American thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
My parents are gonna listen and be like, "Oh no, that's why Justin's so messed up." Yeah, never had.
I didn't mean to jump over you, but I was still reading here.
Oh yeah. What else?
Was sold in refrigerated cabinets and marketed as a healthier alternative to soft drinks, despite neither being healthier nor requiring refrigeration.
Okay, I remember it also came in a weird bottle. It wasn't like a regular bottle. It had like ridges on the bottom, and it was very oblong. Yeah,
it was sort of how would you? Oh, I can see it, but yeah, it's hard to describe.
Yeah, it was almost like no, I was gonna say like an upside down funnel, but it was a little bit thicker.
You know what it kind of looked like? It kind of looked like a pancake syrup bottle, right?
Yeah,
it was kind of bigger deeper, at the bottom, like skinnier at the top.
Yeah, more deeper. Yeah, that's actually a really good comparison. Okay, I never had Tang, but in terms of lunch, this is something we were maybe a little bit later to the bandwagon. I don't remember getting these until middle school. I don't think we had them in grade school, but that was Lunchables. Were you guys a Lunchable family?
We were. It was a treat. Like
Yes,
that was
yes.
a like I don't remember what the occasion would be, but yeah, it was not an everyday thing.
No, and I don't remember ever eating them at school. It was more like, hey, it's summer vacation. I was at the grocery store. Hey, I picked you and your sister each up a Lunchable. Here you go. Have it when you want for lunch. Like that was more of a weekend thing. Like we never
Right.
brought them to school though. So
No, I had him in school. We brought him to school, but it was like an exciting thing. It was like,
Yeah.
guess what I got? And everyone's like, I'm eating my peanut butter and jelly or whatever. And I'd be like, I got ham and I got turkey. And do you remember the super Lunchable that would come with like the mint?
Sean, I got us covered there. Hold on. I will say though, I never had the ham and cheese ones though because I hated deli meat as a kid. So I went straight to the pizza ones.
Oh, that's another level.
Yeah. But then I want to say like in 99 or 2000. Well, you know what? I'm just going to play this commercial. Hold on. Here we go.
He's round the chair, under the table, and
Oh, come on!
the All-Stars win! Yeah!
This calls for a celebration. Egg salad,
Dad, we need an All-Star lunch.
Lunchables, All-Star Burgers, delicious grilled cheeseburgers, even cola. How about sardine smoothies?
How about not?
Lunchables, All-Star Burgers, and
Hot dogs.
make fun of lunch.
Okay, so the reason I bring that up is because the pizza ones were fine, but then they included or created or somewhere in a lab opened a portal to hell and these came out. I don't know. That is the Lunchable cheeseburgers. Did you ever have the Lunchable cheeseburgers, Sean? Okay, so I loved those things. Within them, and as the commercial describes, you also got a can of pop. It was just a generic cola. But so you had two little buns. You had the deli style cheese that they just probably got from the other Lunchables that you put on the crackers. And then you got a ketchup packet and a mustard packet and two hamburger patties. And you ate them cold because I didn't have time to heat them up. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could have, but I ain't doing that.
Well, you wouldn't have had it in school though.
No, and as a kid, I loved them. But now thinking back, the consistency was like rubber. So I don't know what was in those things.
That was lab grown meat before lab grown meat.
It was the what's the I can't think of the name of that company that makes the what's that meat called? I've never had it.
Like the Impossible Burgers.
It was
like
the Impossible Burger before the Impossible Burger. Yeah, there had to be no meat in that whatsoever. The best part is it had char marks on it. It had grill marks on it.
God.
Yeah.
They're like spray painted on there. Like
yes. And then apparently there was Lunchable tacos, which I found a commercial. If you want me, I don't have to play it, but Lunchable tacos or something. I don't remember Lunchable tacos. I do remember Lunchable nachos. We would get those occasionally.
Yes.
Those were good. And as far as I know, I'm not gonna lie. Every time I go grocery shopping, which granted isn't often, but like when I will run out for us to get little smaller things, I always run through the aisle to see if the burger Lunchables are back. And I am sad to report that I have not seen them since about 2002, 2003. So I'm guessing they were taken off the market for a variety of reasons.
So now my goal in life is to invent a time machine and just show up at your house and be like, Justin, we can go back.
You have to hoard these.
You can get your burger Lunchable. Who cares what your kids turn out to be? Let's get it Lunchable.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Who cares about winning the lottery and buying and investing in Amazon?
All right. Oh, now let me see here. Okay, I'm curious. Now, granted, we went to different schools. Mark writes in, he says, baseball gum card, combos with pretzels and cheese. Combos were good. I was more of a pizza combo guy. And that was more of like a car ride road trip.
Yes,
for us.
I was just gonna say that was our road trip.
And I kid you not. Now I don't mind combos, but probably the 10 times I've had them in my life, I've choked on them every time I've gotten them.
God.
I don't know what is wrong with me. I think it's trying to like get the cheese out of the pretzel. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, but that was definitely a road trip thing.
I would always eat them. And I would try to like split them, and then that way you got the cheese.
Yes,
I didn't try to like suck it out. Our road trip food. This is how weird we were. So you had your combos, and my brother and I would always, every time we'd stop at a gas station, get a bag of Warheads.
Oh, okay. So that was one. I love sour candy, Sour Patch Kids, sour Skittles. Even though sour Skittles make my teeth hurt after I have them, but that might be an age thing.
My
I don't.
teeth hurt.
Sour Patch Kids don't do that to my teeth yet.
Yet.
Warheads, though, I will admit, I remember in like 4th and 5th grade, you were a true badass if you could stomach a warhead. And I would always be like, "Ah, no, I'm good. I had some the other day." And I'll be honest, it wasn't until like probably high school that I tried my first warhead because I was so afraid of. I mean, the logo itself is a guy crying. I don't want to
Yeah.
cry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, or or I would take them and run them underwater to get all the to get the real
Cheat.
sugar. Yeah.
Cheat.
Yeah.
I never,
Yeah.
you know what though? I give you credit because I never thought of doing that.
But see, you know what's funny is so I was literally visiting a school for my job and doing some tech stuff, and it was probably a 4th grader stopped me in the hall and they're like, "Hey, Mr. McElwee, how's it going?" And they're like, "Guess what I got for lunch? Have you ever seen these before?" And I kid you not, he pulled out a pack of warheads and he's like, "You don't know how tough these are, Mr. McElwee." And I'm like, "Oh, kiddo, yes, I do. I can
Oh
tell
my
you a tale. Let me tell you."
you know what? I'm glad that is a connection that we still have with the youth. I didn't
Yes.
realize that they still like.
news
I
to
don't
me.
want to say still had them because I haven't looked for them since I was probably in 5th grade. But the fact that I know that they're still out there and kids are still torturing themselves with them is comforting.
And the wrapper was the exact same. It was
Really?
it had not changed at all, which made me even happier for a
That's
odd reason.
fantastic.
Mark goes on to say candy cigarettes, which
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember thinking that was so cool as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Getting those, and I remember when I would visit my grandparents, we would sometimes buy like the gum cigars,
Mm-hmm.
and that we just thought that was so neat. Yeah, I don't know
Well, the
that.
candy cigarettes. There was a candy store like a couple blocks from my parents' house, and we used to
Mhm.
ride our bikes there and get them in the summertime.
So the reason though I brought up Mark's in particular, and this ties back to actually my mom who wrote in too, is they both mentioned some things from Market Day. Did you guys order from Market Day in
Oh,
school?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't even know if Market Day is still around because I mean I've worked in education for almost 15 years now, and I have never seen Market Day pop up at any school or district I've worked in.
I don't think it is.
So Mark said he loved the Market Day bagel dogs, which I vaguely remember those.
I remember
And
those.
we were a huge Market Day family. Like that was a lot of our dinners and stuff.
Oh yeah, we were too.
But I know my mom said she loved there was this thing they were called Italian dippers, and it was like Italian dough and cheese. I don't think it had any meat on it, but then it had marinara sauce and you would dip it like as an appetizer. They were
Okay.
really good. And then this might just be a me and my sister problem. My mom would always buy the bag of frozen cookie dough. And it was literally just individual, like one little chunk of cookie dough, and then so you don't have to cook, you don't have to cut anything for the dough. You just throw it in the oven and it's good. And me and my sister somewhere got the idea that that could just be a snack. So we would just walk up to the freezer, reach in, grab a handful of dough, chunks, and just pop them like M&Ms. Probably not healthy for you at all. Looking back,
I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna make you feel a lot better about your childhood.
okay, all right,
I am 36 years old.
yes,
As you know, and as the listeners may or may not know, I on the side do improv comedy.
mm-hmm.
I do it after work sometimes. Sometimes I am tired. So a lot of times on the way to a show, I will stop at a 7-Eleven and I will get a coffee or a whatever. And the last show that I did, 100% true story, my wife can attest to it. We were in 7-Eleven and I'm like, I need something to snack on. And I'm looking around, and it's typical things, honey buns, Rice Krispie treats, whatever. I go to the refrigerated section and I swear to you, I am looking for the Gatorade like protein thing where you get the deli meat, the cheese, and like some nuts.
Yeah, it's like the quick 3 or pick 3 or whatever the hell.
I've eaten those before shows before. I like it. It's light. It's good. Whatever.
Yeah.
What I came away with was a Starbucks coffee frappuccino in the glass bottle and a plastic cup full of cookie dough because 7-Eleven sells it. I saw it and I said, I have to. Like, one, I know it's pure sugar and I need that because I don't improvise the way I used to.
No,
And
we're getting old.
yeah, I know. That's why we're doing
That's why we're doing the
this.
show. Yeah.
Yes. And I had like, I don't know, a handful, 5 or 6 cubes, and I was
Mhm.
like damn near nauseous just because I was like, too much, too fast. And then I had to bring myself down and then go do a show.
Yeah, and to be honest, I remember my mom would always be like, you guys shouldn't be doing that. That's not cooked; it's raw cookie dough. And needless to say, for the I don't know decade that we had market day being in school, we never once got sick. Now I will be the first to admit I had a lot of stomach problems growing up, so I'm wondering if maybe that could have been why.
Yeah,
And we
Pepsi
just
Blue,
Pepsi
whatever.
Blue, yeah, a bunch of great American inventions.
Watered down warheads,
Exactly. Okay, here's one. I do have a commercial for this, but I'll save that. Melissa writes in and said cherry Kool-Aid, which I will play this in a second, but Kool-Aid to me was always like, oh, it's a totally healthier thing than drinking pop. Not really. And I'm starting to think, looking back at some of these 90s foods, a lot of these things were like, oh, this is a great alternative. The marketing was like, hey, moms and dads, you don't want your kids drinking pop. Here's a pack of sugar that you mix with water. So much better.
Yep.
So she said cherry Kool-Aid, which I'm going to play that right now. This is from the mid 90s. Here we go.
I'm bored. Yeah.
Not when I'm around.
Kool-Aid!
Kids love my super fruity flavors, and you don't have to shell out a whole whack of dough for Kool-Aid.
Still pennies a glass.
Yeah, so being a mom isn't so hard after all.
Okay, start watching, Jughead.
Oh, everything's cool when Kool-Aid's around. And look for my tropical fruit flavors Island Twists, featuring new strawberry kiwi. Yeah, man.
So, okay, I heard that. And first of all, I just like to say that, oh, hey, moms, your life is so hard. If you give your kids Kool-Aid, life is going to be so much easier. So clearly that's why I'm so exhausted every day with 2 children is because we're not drinking enough Kool-Aid or giving them Kool-Aid.
I think what it is you sugar them up and you kick them outside and you call it a day. Like that, like they come back on when they come home when the streetlights come on, and that's it.
I just keep thinking of that Simpsons episode where it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? For the last time? No. Bart's food
that's awesome.
All cold and eaten. Yeah, so I thought that was funny. I just remember like the really goofy flavors, like the blue, like Purple Saurus Rex, and like I just remember callback to episode 1, Dominic's. Like in the summer we would walk through the Kool-Aid aisle, and my mom's like, "All right, pick out a couple flavors. This we can get this. So when I don't want you drinking pop." So yeah. And then Melissa goes on to say, and she sent me pictures of this. I've never seen these before. The microwavable French fries in a box.
I remember those.
And it was like, it looked like a crayon box, and each little hole was its own individual fry.
And it was like tin foil inside, or not tin foil, but it was like reflective. So it would make them it would make them crispy, but it never worked. But I do remember those.
The last one, you know what? I'm just going to play this because this was a staple in our house for snacks on the weekends, or if we rented a family movie, The Sandlot or The Mighty Ducks or something that was G or PG. You probably had this too. Here we go.
Hey, Mom, when are we going to watch the video?
Well, you got the pillows?
Got the pillows. Hey,
How about your seats?
got my seat.
Anything else?
Pizza rolls.
Got them.
Totino's Pizza Rolls. Big pizza taste in every little bite-sized snack.
So, you got the movie?
Movie?
Totino's Pizza Rolls. Hot, good, gone, and video night.
Oh, Dad, so dumb for getting the movie.
All the dads were. Look at all the
I
sitcoms
know.
of the 90s.
Oh, well, yeah, that was part and parcel, right? So, yeah, like Totino's Pizza Rolls, and even Bagel Bites for that matter, too, were a big deal in our house. I don't know about you.
Not so much growing up, but now I eat more now than I did when I was a kid. I don't know. My mom didn't really buy them that much, but that's a big one, like on New Year's Eve and stuff. Like we'll always do that.
Yeah, and I for some reason I have very strong memories of my grandfather being like, "Listen, the proper way to eat these, you gotta bite the corners to let the steam out." And I'm like, "Oh, Okay.
Those things were dangerous.
They
There is
were.
a lot of truth to that. Your grandfather was wise beyond his
He
years.
was.
For
I'm not gonna
sure.
lie. I still do that to this day. Yeah.
No, I distinctly remember like getting burned by one when I was a kid, and
Yes.
then I was like, no, I don't want these anymore. Either
No.
that or we would overcook them, and then they were like golf balls.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. You could. Yeah. Yeah.
You could do some damage if you threw them at your brother or something, for sure.
They become projectile weapons instead of
For
a
real.
snack there at that point. Before we get into some other write-ins, I'm trying to think. I'm having a hard time thinking of any others myself. What about you?
I got a couple goofy things just for nostalgia.
Sure.
We didn't really
Yeah.
buy them, but do you remember when they did the whole like green and purple ketchup thing and all that?
Yes. I some family friends bought that once and we tried it. And I will be honest, I've been trying to eat less ketchup now for blood pressure because we're old. But I am what I like to call a ketchup connoisseur. I put ketchup on everything or dip ketchup in everything. Or dip everything in ketchup. A little bit of both actually. I love dipping pizza in ketchup. So I remember having a hard time. I could not get over the color. It was just it felt wrong to me.
Sure.
Couldn't get through it. I don't know. What about you?
We never bought it because
No?
my parents were just like, this is stupid. I'm not
Yeah.
going to waste my money on this. Like,
Yeah.
no.
And then I know they tried to do a comeback with that, like with one of the Shrek movies. They're like, green ketchup, it's back, and that was about it. So
It's like the Szechuan sauce thing all over again with Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, otherwise, I mean, a lot of this stuff. The only other thing that I was going to kind of like bring up was, oh, do you remember Dippin' Dots?
Oh, yeah. I just saw those. The only time I've ever actually gotten those, I want to say, is like at Disney World or the Dells. That's it, like in a theme park.
The very first time I got them, I was at the Kennedy Space Center when I was a kid.
That tracks, yeah.
But I also remember in Chicago Ridge Mall, the movie theater had a machine.
Oh, did it really?
Yes, and they came in a little pouch.
Mm-hmm.
And you typed in, or however it worked, chocolate or strawberry or whatever you wanted. And I remember it had like gears or tracks or something. And this arm came down and they were all stacked at the bottom and it would vacuum suck it up. So it was sort of like, picture a claw machine, but instead of the claw, it was like a vacuum.
Oh, that's cool.
And then it would drop it. Oh, yeah. Because I mean, Dippin' Dots were so weird to begin with that, of course, the machine had to be. Right. So the machine had to be weird. And it, excuse me, I'm getting excited thinking about it. And then I remember the machine more than the Dipping Dots. Like,
see, I vaguely remember going to see movies at Chicago Ridge.
Oh God, I lived at that movie
theater. There
theater.
were two theaters there at one point, wasn't there? On opposite ends of the property, like wasn't there like a Odeon Cineplex, and then there was the.
Are you thinking of the Commons on the other side?
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of.
Where it is now. For those of you who live in the area, that used to be a movie theater.
So I remember going to each one of those a decent amount, and then once the AMC and Crestwood, we're just name dropping all the Chicago South suburbs. That was the one we went to for everything. I remember seeing Babe Pig in the City. That was the first time I'd ever been there.
I don't remember.
I'm sorry, not Pig in the City, just Babe 1. Classic Babe.
OG Babe.
OG Babe, yes.
I don't remember what the first movie I saw at Crestwood was, but do you remember how like nice and cool
it
was
nice.
Like, whoa.
Yeah. Like screw Chicago Ridge. We're going to the fancy theater.
You ready for this? We used to go to Ford City.
So did we.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember we would go there for cheaper movies or whatever. And then I remember seeing Rockadoodle. Do you remember that? We're going.
I remember Rockadoodle, yeah.
And then like the next week there was either a carjacking or a shooting right by Ford City theaters. And my dad's like, yeah, you guys aren't going there anymore. And that's it. And that was the end of our Ford City run after that.
I'm going to throw this. I know it's slightly off topic. I'm just going to throw this at you. Cheap movie, Harlem Corners all day long. All day long. Used to go there all the time.
Okay, you're gonna have to. I remember Harlem Corners, and I know we went there, but where was Harlem Corners?
87th in Harlem.
Okay, that checks out as Harlem Corners. All right, I do vaguely remember going there.
Oh, we used to. I went there. We used to go in high school.
Oh, really? Oh, see,
yeah, we went. I remember seeing Anchorman like 10 times for like $2 a pop. Because it was one of those movie theaters that it was out of the movie, like the regular movies, like an AMC. It was gone from an AMC, but it wasn't on DVD or VHS yet.
Right.
That's when you would go. I saw
definitely-
Dodgeball like 6 times there. Like all the good, like all those. Oh my
early
god, I want to
aughts.
see it again movies. And then it was like, what are you doing Thursday? I don't know. Hey, have you seen Dodgeball? I only saw it 3 times. Shit, I've seen it 6 times. What are you doing? They got a 4:15. Let's go. And then
that was probably, well, I guess if we were, the internet was around, but that might have been the time you still looked in the newspaper to see what time the movie theaters were showing the movies.
Or we called. I think we called.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that too. Okay, I got one. In Erica, my wife, wrote in and said this one as well, and Holly wrote in. I'll get to what Holly said in a second, and that is Dunkaroos. That was our go-to snack, like with our lunch. Like if we had the sandwich and then you had the little bag of chips or whatever, we'd sometimes go with the Dunkaroos. And I totally forgot, which you'll hear in a second, the huge play on like this being an Australian snack. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Dunkaroos is the cookie you drunk for as much frosting as you want. So how do you do your Dunkaroos?
The super duper deep dunk.
Long distance dainty dunk. You can dunk a Dunkaroo in as much chocolate or vanilla frosting as you want. So, how do you do your Dunkaroos? Now we've mixed yummy chips of chocolate in a creamy vanilla frosting. New chocolate chip Dunkaroos. Hip hip for chocolate chip.
Hey kids, do you want something even more unhealthy than the snack you're eating? We're going to put chocolate chips in this vanilla pudding that you're dipping crackers in. Have at it.
Foster's and Dunkaroos, all 3 were fake Australian things. Actually, Foster's might be real Australian.
Wait,
but
Subaru has nothing to do with Australia?
Hell no, that's a Japanese car, dude.
Oh God, I've been living a lie my entire life. Oh man!
Not only do we entertain, ladies and gentlemen, we educate here.
This is edutainment. Oh God, everything I know is shattered. I don't know if I would ever. Man, all right. Well. So there you go, Dunkaroos, great snack. Erica also went on to say, oh, let me get to Holly. Holly said they still sell Dunkaroos at Walmart. She got them a few months ago, but she was very disappointed. They are not as amazing as she remembers. I gotta think the recipe probably changed. I feel like that's a thing when they bring these old things back. They want to make it more cost effective, and I don't know, more fake stuff is in it than real food. I don't know.
Either that or vice versa, and it's more healthy now because they realize that it was like, oh,
we can't put red dye 5 in it.
Right,
it's a third arm, you know.
Yeah, right, exactly. Remember those kids in Oklahoma? Ugh. I think we're still paying that off.
We had to close the whole city down. Erica goes on to write Surge, which I'll be honest, to this day, I have never drank a Surge. And I know you can still buy Surge on Amazon. I don't know if it's in stores though. Huh. She also said pizza Lunchables were her favorite. She had them recently, but they were not good. She also said cookies and cream Nesquik, or maybe
yes, I had that on mine too. Yeah.
And then lastly, and I've seen this at the store. And she bought these when we first moved in together. Granted, this was probably like 12 years ago. And I remember trying them and I'd be like, okay, this isn't what I expected. And that is Oreo cereal. Have you ever had Oreo cereal?
I have not. This is going to kill a lot of people. I am not a huge sweets guy.
Okay.
So that was actually, I was going to make a point. I was going to make a point on the Dunkaroos that was what I was referring to in the beginning. Even as a kid, I was like, this is too much sugar. I can't, I don't like it.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is Dunkaroos also reminds me of, and we had these all the time too, just because Dunkaroos was that real thin package that you pull back. It reminded me of and I don't remember what brand it was, Kraft, maybe the little cup of cheese with the crackers and that little red stick.
That was also on my list. And I literally wrote red stick.
Okay. I just got to say, I walked into one of the lunchrooms at one of the schools I'm at, and they don't, as far as I know, you don't get the red stick anymore. You just kind of gotta stick the cracker in and smear it around. Same thing for the pizza Lunchables. You don't get the red plastic stick anymore to smear the sauce.
No, this is not my America. This is not the country I grew up in. I refuse to believe such blasphemy. Don't tell me these things. The next thing you're going to tell me is that there's no more stars and stripes, Justin. Don't do that to me.
Well, no. I will say, yes. I'm still reeling here over Subaru not being an Australian car company.
Boy.
Let's get into another good snack. Susie and Kelly, your wonderful other half, also wrote in and said, "OG, the original 3D Doritos. Those were amazing."
Yep.
And
there
they
was
had,
3D a lot of things.
Yeah, that was like another buzzword thing. I feel like
Yes.
then everyone just got on the hype train. Like I remember TV shows would do 3D episodes, and it wasn't even
Yes!
like good 3D. It was the red and was it the red and blue goggles still, or maybe it was
Something like
different?
that,
'Cause
yeah.
I remember like Third Rock from the Sun did a 3D episode, and
Home
Drew
Improvement
Carey-
did one.
Home Improvement, yeah. So, the original 3D Doritos though, they had like such a different texture and consistency though, maybe because they were 3D. They had broken the third dimension. But yeah, they came in the cool. I remember they was probably a bag, but then they also came in this like really cool like cylinder looking
It was like
thing.
a tube thing.
Yes, like
It
almost
was
like
almost like a Pringles can.
but cooler.
Yeah.
It was more 3D.
Well, because I think it was plastic where the Pringles can was cardboard.
Yes.
There was, more effort put into it.
They were shelling out a little bit of cash to make you enjoy the product.
More ways to kill Mother Earth.
Yes. Susie also said Ecto Cooler. Ecto Cooler was good. I did not know they actually brought Ecto Cooler back for a while, and it was not tied to Ghostbusters, which is just a sin if you ask me. It's Slimer or nothing.
I remember that, but they also brought it back for the all-female Ghostbusters because when we went to see it, my friend smuggled it in, and we sat there watching the new movie, drinking our Ecto Coolers.
Yeah,
there's a picture of that somewhere.
It is, and I don't even know how you would describe the flavor, but it was good. Green, yeah. I feel like the 90s were also, well, what flavor is that? It's blue. Oh,
yes.
And if you say that, you know exactly what
yes.
Like Pepsi Blue. You know what it tastes
like.
like.
It was like those, what were they called? Those Squeeze-Its or Squeezy things?
Oh, Sean, hold on.
Squeeze-It fruit drink squeezable characters are so much fun. You'll really get into them.
You're in, Smith!
Now say cheese. So why not squeeze a little fun into your face? Squeeze it fruit drink. Squeeze the fun out of it.
Nothing says drink this like, hey, let's squeeze your face and put faces on the bottles. But I remember like that was a big deal. And I remember going to the store with my mom and being like, okay, we got to get the purple ones because the face on the purple ones is so cool looking. Yeah. And I remember Kool-Aid, I think it was Kool-Aid Burst. They had their own knockoff. But yes, I'm so glad you brought Squeeze-Its up because I had that ready to go. So,
oh my God, just going back to that commercial, I liked it. There was really no flavor. It was just like, it's fruit.
Yes.
It must be good for you.
Unidentifiable fruit.
Right. And then I just remember that was a drink that, this is going to sound ridiculous, it made you feel like a man because you would like squeeze the top off, and it was almost like cracking a beer.
Well,
but I was like 7 years old.
Yeah, didn't it have like the little twist thing you had to twist and
it was
like,
it was like it was like half a circle. It was sort of like
it reminded me of those things from Tron, which is a reference no one's gonna get, but like those things that I don't remember what they're called. They were like, they look like half a claw machine, like they, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
It's sort of like a bird or like a phoenix type thing looking thing. But yeah, I mean, I just remember like after a long bike ride, that should have been the commercial. After a long bike ride with your friends, kick back with a Squeeze-It.
Nothing says thirst quenching like a plastic bottle filled with sugar and fruit. What type of fruit? Fruit. Kelly also let me try that again. Kelly also went on to say the original Kudos bars, which I think we touched on a little bit. Those were so
episode.
good. I wish they would bring those back. Hubba Bubba Bubba Jug. I never got that. Because I don't know, the powder just looked gross to me. But I remember my sister would get that sometimes. She also brought up Warheads, and she also said Cream Savers, which was really good. But the one I want to focus on here, because I had this on my list as well, and that's Butterfinger BBs.
Which that was on mine too.
better than Butterfinger candy bars, especially now since they changed whatever they changed in the recipe. It's a different something is different in it now.
Really?
Yes, and the candy bar wrapper is now yellow and not the orangish color it was in the 90s.
Bart
Shame,
Simpson would
shame
be.
on them. Well, I'm glad you brought up Bart Simpson because, as we all know, Bart Simpson was the entire Simpsons cast shilled for Butterfinger BBs. I still don't know why, but here we go.
What the? You're such a brat, Bart. What? Yeah, you won't share your Butterfinger BB.
So we're taking them.
Ooh, bite size.
Down the hatch, sir.
No, Maggie, no.
Groovy munchies, man.
Ah!
Bag a bunch of crispity, crunchity, peanut buttery Butterfinger BBs.
Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger BBs. Ah!
So those were really good.
Yes.
But I would say, like, if you don't remember what they were literally the size and shape and maybe consistency of Whoppers candy, but except with a Butterfinger middle instead of a whatever Whoppers malted milk balls. I don't know what those are.
Yeah,
but
something like that.
yeah, those were really good. And yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming they just don't make those anymore. Or I mean, Butterfinger has nothing to do with the Simpsons anymore either. I don't think, right?
I don't think so.
But like that was a big deal. Every time there was a commercial for that, it was Bart. And I still don't understand the rationale, maybe, or how much that had to have cost. Because I mean, like that was the early to mid 90s when like the Simpsons were a powerhouse, right? Like,
yes,
I don't know. I haven't watched the Simpsons since like season 12, so maybe they would still get that respectability now. I'm gonna lean towards no, but I've heard it's gotten better, but I don't know if anything should be on the air for that long. But yeah. So Kelly, thank you for writing in. Those were quite good. What else? Let's see. We got two. Go ahead, Sean.
I was just gonna say I wanted to get to Connor's Wonder Balls because a lot of my nostalgia comes back. I remember my brother used to get those a lot. I thought they were neat, but I don't know if I ever got one myself. Do you remember the Wonder Ball?
I do. I remember. I never had one. I think I remember seeing the commercials more like on either Cartoon Network or like Nickelodeon. But if my understanding, if I'm thinking of the right thing, it was Disney. You'd have like the chocolate ball with like maybe like a Disney imprint on the chocolate, and then on the inside you either had toys or sour candy. And I want to say after a while they maybe got rid of the ones with the toys because some dumbass kids tried to eat the toys thinking they were candy. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. But I do remember it. I just never had them. But they look cool.
that checks. The math works there. Yeah, I remember the toys more than the candy that came in it. I just remember just thinking like, because it came in a box and it sort of looked like an ornament in a way.
Yeah, that's a great example of what it was.
Like I mean everything, the box, and then it was like this round chocolate sphere, and then inside that was whatever your toy or whatever your
That's a good pull. All right, we got to get to Brandon's because this ad. I saw he was posting on the Facebook page, and I was kind of talking to him a little bit because I still remember this song clear as day. This was something my sister would always get at the store. I know we were talking about it before we started recording. But before we get to that, he mentioned push-ups ice cream, which I remember those.
Oh yeah.
As a kid, I remember not liking them though because they were so messy, and I don't know, or maybe I was just a messy eater and I was the problem. Kind of it's me. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem.
You had to eat them fast because they melted fast because they weren't like ice cream. They were almost like sherbet.
Yeah, and Brandon goes on to mention the Flintstone ones, especially, which I want to say those were like an orange creamsicle ones. Okay,
yes, I remember that very well.
Those were good. He also brings up ring pops, which were a very big deal in school because if someone gave one of those to you, like,
you're still my heart.
Yeah, you're getting married. This is serious. Go home and tell your parents. But the main one. Well, you know what? Before I say it, I'm just going to play the ad. Here we go.
They look like babies. Hey, it's Baby Bottle Pop. It's a Baby Bottle Pop. Just lick the pop, dip it and shake it. And lick it again. It's a Baby Bottle Pop. Baby Bottle Pop.
Baby Bottle Pops, a candy pop you lick and dip.
All right. So, first of all, Baby Bottle Pop is still around to this day. The only reason I know that is because I tagged my sister in this because she was Mrs. Baby Bottle Pop as a kid. My niece, one of her daughters, who is currently in kindergarten, Yeah, kindergarten. That's like one of her favorite treats of candy is baby bottle pop, which if you don't know what baby bottle pop is, it's literally like the sucker is the nipple part of a bottle, and then the milk part is just all powdered sugar of different sour flavors, and you would just flip it and then lick, kind of like a Fun Dip almost, which I loved Fun Dip as a kid, but looking back, like that is just pure sugar. Like that is got to be horrible for you.
Now, believe it or not, that was something that I indulged in was the Fun Dips.
I did like those too. When we would go camping, the campground we went to, they had like the front office store and they would sell candy. And that was like the biggest treat was getting Fun Dip for when we'd sit by the bonfire.
Nice.
And then just trying to have the patience and wherewithal not to eat the candy stick before I'm done with
Yes, that did take patience. You're right.
And the candy stick was good.
Yes.
So
sugar on sugar. What's not to like?
What's not to like? I'll be honest. After going through all of those, I can't think. I'm sure we'll get to in future episodes where I'll be like, "Hey, remember this snack?" But I feel like that really hit on a lot of the ones I had as a kid in my family. Is there anything else before we call it a night that you wanted to touch on?
The only other thing, and I'll just mention them briefly. Gushers.
Oh, see, I hated Gushers with a passion.
Zebra gum that lasted 30 seconds if you were lucky.
Yes, that was the word. That was the best 30 seconds ever until it was
delicious until the third chew.
Yes, and then it was gone.
I think you can still get these though. I was a big Red Hots guy.
Yes. Big Red Gum too. I haven't seen it at the stores in forever. I don't know if that's still around.
That is one. Oh, I'm sure it is, but that's one of my favorite parts of Ricky Bobby. If you've ever seen the commercials at the end, that's the Big Red one's probably my favorite one. And I don't know where we're at on if I can say it or not. So for those of you, just Google it or
it's up
whatever.
to you. Otherwise, if I can always beep things out too. It's not a big deal.
Well, it's literally, for those of you who have not seen it, it's Ricky Bobby holding a Big Red, and he just goes, "If you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you."
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That was it. The only other thing I kind of wanted to touch on, and I kind of did already, was do you remember when Nesquik the powder came in a metal can?
In a metal can?
Yeah. That was my nemesis because I am a chocolate milk person to this day. And as a kid, I remember taking a butter knife and being like, I know it's an audio, not visual podcast, but I was just prying it, and the thing just looked like it fell down the stairs by the time I was done with it.
See, I mean, there might have been some times where my mom would buy it. But I just remember we were strictly hey, there's the milk jug and here's some chocolate syrup and I'll make it for you. And then on very rare occasions, and usually road trips, you would get like the pre-made chocolate milk and like the little bottles.
Right.
And that stuff tastes so much better than anything.
It does. And it's even to this day.
Yeah, it's still so much better.
I see it in the store sometimes and I'm just like, you know what? Today's a chocolate milk day.
Yeah, I don't know if this is me like not feeling the whole Catholic guilt thing as much these days as I get older, but yeah, I used to be like, oh no, I could never have that. But like now, if I got a little bit extra time, going to work and I want to stop and get myself something to drink and I'll get chocolate milk. Yeah, you've earned it. You woke up today. You woke up today. You got 2 kids to daycare. You earned that chocolate milk. And you know what? You enjoy it because it was pre-made. You didn't have to stir it. You're good to go. So
it's a perfect ratio.
It is.
If your socks match, your shoes are tied, you deserve chocolate milk.
As I don't know about you, but as I get older, I've noticed that like the barrier to entry to treat myself is just getting lower and lower. Like it used to be like, hey, you ran 4 miles on the treadmill. You can splurge a little. Now it's like, hey, you stood most of the day at work today. You know? I don't know. I don't know what that says about me or if that's an age thing, but yeah. That's kind of
I love that. I'm going to use that.
Well,
seeing as how I do stand for most of the day for my work, shit, I'm entitled to anything I want.
Yeah.
Corvettes, here we come.
Hey, you just wait until that podcast money starts rolling in, then we'll be good to go.
You hear that, people? It's on you. First rides, line up around the block.
It's on you. Well, Sean.
Whoops, you know what the music means. Our time is up.
All right. Well,
that wasn't the music I was expecting.
No, I got no
right.
more. I guess that does it for another episode. We will be back before Halloween with the Halloween episode. We will let you know what it is. We haven't decided yet. But again, go to linktree.com, linkttree.com/MMC podcast to find all our stuff. Call in the show, leave voicemail 1-815-905-CLUB. Facebook.com/MMC podcast 1 and search for our show, Millennial Midlife Crisis Podcast, on your app of choice. Find it. 5 stars on Spotify or Apple would be great. Sean, you got anything else?
I'm gonna give me a snack.
Hey, you podcasted. You earned it.
I earned it. That's right. Chocolate milk, here I come.
All right. Well, on that note, we will be back next week or the week after. We'll see. This whole work thing and being an adult sucks, by the way. We will be back. And when we are, you can guarantee there'll be more shenanigans and fun on the Millennial Midlife Crisis Podcast. Until then, take care, everybody.
Bye-bye now.